afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, August 4, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We've been in the best way to put it is an incarceration cell as a civilization, where you have a societal structure that is developed and built based on mostly lies. And so we're trained, educated, programmed, whatever you want to use, from the very beginning when we enter a baby body. And since we really don't have a memory of who and what we are, we go into these bodies and it's like a big tub that's empty. And you just start filling the tub up. And most of that information goes into the subconsciousness. So the subconsciousness is like our recorder. It plays back everything at random times. And it plays back what others have taught you as you're growing up. And it does it throughout your life. And you have nothing to compare it with. None of us do. So we embrace it as our pathway. No one tells us about who and what we are when we're really young children. We haven't. None of that comes in. And it's because those who raise us received the same. Who received the same, who received the same, who received the same. So there's no fault here. It's just, and so we created all of this in the social structure and the dictation of the social structure, and then the fear and the ego mind. You start adding all this up. Then you begin to realize that if you don't know who and what you are, now most of us believe that what? Really, we believe we're the body. And the illusion of separation isn't an illusion to us, it's real. So it's like the golden drop from the golden ocean that we are. When you can't take that away. In other words, you're a golden drop of the golden ocean, but you contain the essence of the ocean. So there's no separation. So we're all everything. All that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever are one. You can't argue it. You can argue it. You know, we can be programmed and everything while we're in these bodies, but we're all one. The galaxies, the universes, all that's contained within the galaxies and the universes and beyond is one. We're all drops in this massive golden ocean. Isn't this amazing? Trillions and trillions experiencing in different ways, all going to the one. Then you start to realize how expansive things are. Right now, this solar system is traveling through what we call a photon energy belt. Okay? What's photon energy? I mean, how can we identify photon energy? Light energy. Well, that's what our souls are. Photon light energy. And how did that get created? Where did that come from? Did some massive force outside of us put that there? Oh, it came from us. It came from all the gods and all the collective and the collective consciousness. Why did that come? Why did we do that? We felt collectively it was time to wash the planet. And then bathe the planet in tremendously high frequency love light energy. And so we created this belt, and we're going to be traveling through it for at least a couple thousand years. So it's not something that's, a bang and gone. Now what's happening with this is that we're witnessing, those of us that are aware to a certain extent, we're witnessing a birthing from a death. Okay? And what I mean by that, the death are the old ways, the antiquated, suppressive, slave construct for this civilization and species. Now, it doesn't really, most of us don't even know that. We've accepted how things are, right? We don't question much. But the birthing is this light energy, collective consciousness, each of us choosing to wake up from the standpoint of going within and recognizing that everything outside of us is what we created and continue to create to experience. These bodies are an illusion. It's everything that's outside of us is an illusion created either directly or indirectly by us, by the collective consciousness. And it's got to be pretty tricky so that we don't find it out immediately. And so this universe, which is a highly intricate design holographic generator. And so our thoughts create that universe collectively throughout all existence and beyond. And then what do? Well, you can see a planet, and you could go online and watch how in a simulation how a planet is formed, and how does it get life on it and all that stuff. The collective consciousness creates planets. Why does the collective consciousness create planets? So that life can blossom from those planets. You put all the properties together, right? All the energetic frequencies where life can be born. And once this happens, it's like this planet, many civilizations have been here and come and gone. This civilization is the primer for the planet to become a God planet paradise, a five-dimension density planet. And the only reason that is because many of us have decided this is what we want. Doesn't necessarily mean that we comprehend that. Some do. More and more are beginning to realize that that's what's going on here. All these happenings and all this, what do you want to call it? Hoopla, buffoonery, there's many words for it. Propaganda. Many of us aren't entertained by it anymore. Do we create it? Yes, we create it. But you can be entertained, and none of us are exempt from this. See, we do something, we watch something, right? We engage in sports, whatever it may be. As activities, entertainment. And so, but there comes a time where it just gets boring and you want to move on to something else. It just gets stale. You still do it, but it's just not as fun as it used to be. So you decide to go off into something else. It's kind of like that. And on top of it, we've pretty much filled our tanks with the negative side of life. And now we want to experience the positive side of life. Now see, that doesn't mean we negate negativity. Because we face our negativities and the things that we experience, and we move on. That's how any civilization progresses. And when we focus on what we want, even when you focus on what you want, you're going to get both anyway. Right? Just to a much lighter degree on the negative side of the positive. There's always yin and yang. It's a balance. And why is it there? So we can experience and learn. That's why it's always there. If we only had one avenue and we couldn't compare it to anything, man, we would become absolutely bored to tears. So we compare things. And it's just like, for instance, when people on this planet talk about a financial windfall, right? And we know it's gone on for decade and a half. You know, currency revaluation and a lot more wealth spread across the planet to the people. And people that talk about it, that's not negative, that's a positive. It's a positive thing that people are uplifted and talk about, good energetic things. But what happens is that people become attached to the outcome, and they get expectations. And so when things don't occur as they have been told, they suffer and they're disappointed and upset. So it's a prime example of staying in the now. All this is positive. It's off the charts positive. And we embrace things and say, all right, 100%, 100%, 100% faith, trust, confidence in oneself and the universe. And so you know it will occur. You know it will manifest. You aren't interested on when. You just know it will. And more of us are becoming, we're coming to that comprehension, that we begin to comprehend that fact, and so we let it go. And as we let it go, it becomes much more powerful, and it moves in. And then we experience. We manifest it and experience. We manifest things by stating and letting go. And we're letting go all the time. All day long, morning, noon, and night, we're letting go. See, a lot of people believe that they're going to lose something or they're going to miss out if they keep letting go. But it doesn't mean that. It means that you know something and you really enjoy this something that you know. It may be something you want, whatever. You know you will have it. Through the heart-mind is important, not the ego-mind. But through the heart-mind, you know you will have it, and that's it. And you just let it go. And then you know, and you say to yourself, if I get it, great. If I don't, great. That alleviates it. Okay? Many are afraid or fearful to focus on that. You know, if I get it, great. If I don't, great. What does that do? It eliminates your expectation, your attachments to it, your attachments to the outcome, your expectations. It doesn't mean that we don't want it. It means that we do, and we're letting go. We're letting go of the ego mind trying to control everything and dictate to us, and then we get upset and worried and stressed and fearful. Is it ever going to happen? We really tire ourselves out on many things rather than just letting go. For instance, all of us on this planet could look at the, what? Well, everything going on, and then, major global conflict and all this stuff. You notice it doesn't happen now like it used to. Why is that? Why hasn't the civilization embraced another global conflict? Because of their higher frequencies. Not interested in that anymore. We're not interested in that. And a lot of more people are recognizing, not interested in puppet shows. On everything that they put in front of us. We're not this. We've been there so many times. It was going. You know what? This stuff is old and dank, and it doesn't do good for us. So if it doesn't do good for us, why would we even entertain the idea of it? We don't. This is what's happening. The spiritual ascension of this civilization is in full force. And the photon light energy field and people choosing on their own, not being, pushed or pressured. They're just choosing to go within and embrace their heart mind and reunite with the God they are. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And it's spreading. And the interesting thing about it is that that's one of the reasons why we're seeing all the goop come to the top. We're seeing all the goop come to the top. Some of it is just absolutely absurd. Other parts of it, you just have a good laugh because laughing's great. And you look at all this, and you get this feeling like it's like children that are totally impatient and totally ungrateful. That's what this reminds you of. It's running around rampantly and flying around and making statements and comments to scare and intimidate and put fear front and center. And we're not interested in that anymore. Thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes, we've been that gambit so many times that we know it blindfolded. We could be deaf, dumb, and blind and know it's just like the back of our hands. I mean, we look at the back of our hands a lot, right? So we know the back of our hands really well. So we're moving on as a civilization. And there's some that aren't going to move on. That's okay. That's their choice. And we're not concerned about it because it's their choice. They're not going to die. They're immortal beings. They'll just leave the body. See, we interpret this on this planet, fear things that keep everybody in a slave state. And I'm not saying that's negative. It's the positive part of it is that we awaken to it and discover it. Not angry or revengeful. We identify it and we describe it, and we no longer accept it. That's the key. And we all step out of the circle or the rat race, and we become, quote, black sheep. Where'd that term come from? Well, you have a flock of sheep. They're usually what? Ivory white, and they have black snout. There's different kinds of sheep. But every now and then you'll see a black sheep that sticks out big time, like a beacon. And black sheep is not a bad thing. But see, society has twisted that as being bad and negative. Oh, well, yeah. How many people have you heard say that they were the black sheep of the family? because they didn't conform and they didn't do certain things, and they were kind of outlandish and stepped outside the box a lot as they were growing up. And it's a good thing. More and more are stepping out of the rat race on this planet and becoming black sheep. And what is it? You know, what's a black sheep? Adventurer. Embracing spirituality and not physicality. Motivated to master their ego mind. First, discover the ego mind, leave it alone, and master it by watching it. And our thoughts. Because when we master our ego mind and we master our thoughts, that's when you will realize that you are completely free. You will direct things, see? And it won't be with the ego mind. We'll use the ego mind for a while as our servant. And it will finally be at peace. It will finally comprehend the fact that it can be at peace. It's no longer rushing and wanting and everything. And it just basically disappears. Served its purpose. And we have so many new avenues that we have created for ourselves. They're infinite, and continue to grow. We're transforming this planet. There's not a shadow of a doubt whatsoever. Doubt doesn't exist. And we are the power. Always have been. More and more of us are discovering it the more we go in and embrace the heart-mind. Who created the wars? Conflicts. The death and destruction. We did. It isn't a bad thing. How could we have come to where we are now had we not experienced all that? We probably wouldn't. And then we shed these avenues that have been with us. We no longer need them. Our focus will be, and is becoming more and more, to be in peace and harmony with oneself. To know who and what you are. To love deeply and eternally who and what you are. And to embrace all the aspects, good, bad, and indifferent, about you, with yourself. You won't run from fear. You'll embrace it. You won't worry. See, any worries you'll embrace. You'll begin to let go more of things. You won't hang on to them. You know, because why? Your doubt factor will dissipate greatly, and you'll know that whatever it is that you are asking for, you will do it while in meditation, while you're in the now. When your attention is focused on what? Your breath rising and falling. This is the power base. It's the very core of who and what we are. And when I say that we already have it all, that's not figuratively, that's literally. We all already have it all. And it's all within us. And it's all about discovering that on our own. Not going to some school or, mountain cave guru. It's all about you. And for you to discover it. I believe that we all have the ability to discover all of that. Some are just yawning and opening their eyes to all this. Others are completely locked in to third dimensional frequencies. And others are well on their way and shaking off the last vestiges of doubt. Now we have, and all of us have doubt. None of us are exempt from it, whether it's little teeny, average, or humongous. Doubt creates worry and fear. And we're coming out of that. We're not, it's not like we're swimming around anymore in it. Because you're not going to stay in a pool, right, until your skin falls off. You're not going to do it. You're going to say, I can't do this anymore, or I'm waterlogged and I'm done with it. I'm moving on. That means all of us. Because what's interesting about what do we call it? Lower dark matter, survivor matter frequencies. We all have our labels for it. Now, it believes it's separate from us. It believes that it's omnipotently more powerful than us. And the ironic thing, that it is part of us. Okay? And it believes it's separate from us. It isn't. Remember, we're all one. How are you going to learn if someone is, we call it bad, right? If we don't meet or interact with people that are bad, how would you know? You realize how gullible you would be if you didn't learn that in this life. If you didn't learn, this is just one example, but if you didn't learn, okay, you experience something we call bad, right? Someone does you wrong or rips you off, or whatever it is. And you experience that. It's not fun. We don't like that stuff. But we've all experienced it more than once. But we learn from it. Now, some of us will learn too much, take it too far, and lock ourselves away from others. Then we get to the point where we feel that, well, everybody's that way. Dangerous. You know why? Because then you'll manifest everybody you come across is that way. So you let go of it and you say, well, that was an experience. And you learn from it, so in your next interaction with somebody, it might take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then you start to get it. And then you start to pick up an awareness on whether or not you're interacting with a good person, good being, or a not so good being. And I only mean that physically because they still have a God within them. And then you'll get to the point where you say, you know what? I want to manifest people into my life that are good, that are heart-minded, and happy. Okay? And if you don't have any doubt about that, and you do that during the meditation, then those are the people that will come into your life. It's guaranteed. Now, some of us will have people come into our lives that we manifest to teach us, to prepare us for other things in our futures. And we do this. We manifest things into our lives that are preparing us for future events. Not necessarily do many of us have that front and center. It might be subconsciously. But how do you prepare? This is how. When you step in fully to New Earth, how do you feel or think that's going to be? You will have surrendered the ego mind, anger, frustration, all that stuff. And you will have moved on. And then you will know that you are manifesting the life that you've always wanted. And we're fortunate to the standpoint where we've experienced that. We're really heavy-duty veterans. Disappointment, attachment, expectation, because we've done it so many lifetimes. And so we refer to that when we enter New Earth and say, wow, we will be in a state of gratitude 24/7. Period. Every one of us will. Some will take a little bit to come along, but the majority of us will be in deep gratitude 24/7. Why? Because it's so different. It's because it's so different. Why do you believe or think that so many people are starting to come around to the comprehension? Understanding is a whole different ballgame, but comprehend what everything that's happening around you. The reason it's happening around you is because it's already happened within you. So whatever's happening around you has already happened within you. And this is why we talk about so many times where focus on what you want, not what you don't want. We have so many great truths in our universe. And there's as many truths as there are stars in the sky. And yet, just like the billions of trillions of stars that exist, not all truths are created equal. I think people, because of how we've been programmed, is about the only way to state it. I think a lot of people look up in the sky. What do you see when you look in the sky at night? Usually you see black and white, right? You see white stars and black around them. Usually, or if you really get a good view of the Milky Way galaxy, which we're in, so we could look out our window, we should be able to see the Milky Way galaxy. And you see all the stars and how heavy. And in fact, there seems to be more light than dark. Now, some people say, well, how come where I'm living, I look up and there's just a few stars, not a lot, just a few here and there. How come that is? It's because of the light pollution in that area that you reside. What does that mean? Well, it means the light from the ground it travels up through the atmosphere, and it's like, let's put it this way. When you have a movie screen, and it's dark, right? You can see the colors and the characters and the movie, everything. When the lights come on, you can't hardly see anything. So when the lights are on the planet, it washes out space, pretty much. So if you're in a big city, not even an average-sized city or a town, and you get a lot of people living there, and lights, street lights, car, all that stuff, it's going to pretty much eliminate the massive amounts of stars that are up there in outer space. Now, if you were to take off from this planet, and you were to go, let's say, a couple 100,000 miles out from the planet, then you'd see. There wouldn't be just a couple of little lights up in the atmosphere, up in the space, it would be chock full. And then when there is space, that means there's room to create more. More planets, more star systems. More novas, more pulsars, all of it. Why is it that we have truth and then we don't have truth? Why is that? Why are those always together? Because we live in a highly diverse, intelligent system which contains various degrees of truth. And so not every truth will impact us the exact same way, and they don't. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality, and the smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink and contract our experience of this life. And the good news is that you do not have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Our physical body will let us know. For our heart is the best, by far, guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth actually is. Whenever any of us, when we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, a little miracle happens. Everything that once felt hard, heavy, stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We feel lighter than air and are filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking and we experience our own source of consciousness. And from here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective, and it can happen within milliseconds. One of the largest truths that you may ever uncover along your path is that the first lesson in the Course of Miracles, okay? I've said this many times. Can't say it enough. It simply states, that which is real cannot be threatened. And that which is unreal does not exist. Now, to some it may take quite a while, several months maybe, to digest or even comprehend this enormous truth into our mind and root it throughout our lives. And the more you will look at it, the deeper it will transform your entire way of viewing yourself and others and this world. That which is real cannot be threatened. Think about this. A lot of people say, what the heck does that mean? So we say to ourselves, what is it? What is it that feels threatened inside me? And ask yourself the question, what is this personality, this self, this ego, or that thing you call you, which defends itself when feeling attacked or provoked? It's like, what is this little you who has a need to be on guard and protect yourself? Trying to assert itself and attempting to achieve something important or worthwhile with your life. And then Who is this overly strong, confident, all-important you who compensates for the super small, unimportant you? It's the one who has been attempting to make your life secure by feeling self-important, accomplished, met in deep embrace by your beloved, and all the while you're feeling a deep and constant separation from God. And the positive news in all this is that who we truly are has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do, with who and what we think we are. Whatever any of us may think of and conceive of about ourselves with the mind can only be a thought. And this little thought is too small to be who or what we are. Who and what we really are is way beyond any spiritual understanding of the mind in this moment. And only this moment we can find what is actually real. And this real thing is the only thing that liberates us and binds us at the same time. That which is real, the real you, does not change. And this essence is what remains the same for all eternity. That's crucial for us to comprehend. Perhaps the most pivotal, enlightening truth that any of us may discover this in this life is understanding, comprehending how all identification with the ego is based in some form of fear. If we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, and bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. And the ego is clinging to some thought or a process of thoughts which believes deep down that it is not one with the divine, which of course that is absurd. It thinks it is not loved, accepted, embraced, or enlightened, which is also absurd. As Osho stated many times, the more creative you become, the more godly you become. When your creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of your life is filled with creativity, you live in God. And living in God is living in you. And enlightenment is simply realizing again and again and again how to remain non-identified with one's ego. And the enlightened state is a pure seeing, understanding how the ego is the greatest illusion of them all. And to intimately know and become identified with the self, that which cannot be threatened, the God within you. Become identified with that and not the ego mind. Because you know what? The ego is who we think we are. Now, it has some truth to it. Yet it's just not a very big truth. It's a much smaller truth, which only castrates our ability to expand into love, trust, and a feeling of oneness. Do you have a feeling of oneness with all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever? In the quiet time of this meditation, ask yourself that question. And once you do this, once you discover, you will have total clarity. You will be able to plug into the vast knowledge and experience base of the collective consciousness and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. All the saints, all the gurus, all the masters, all the wisdom and knowledge known is right for your experience, where you can actually plug into it all. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Focus on your breath, rising and falling. How do you know if you're an awakening being? You know you're an awakening being when in the midst of chaos and suffering, you are completely at ease. To arrive at this divine destination, sometime at your choosing, for 30 minutes or so, meditate on a vast space of nothingness all around you. Do this in complete silence. Just imagine that you are somewhere way out in the universe, and for billions of miles in all directions, there is emptiness. Put on an eye mask and earplugs if necessary, so you don't see or hear anything. This spacious space is always available inside every one of us. And if you truly want to awaken the spiritual experience in your life, I invite you to dive into this spacious, silent place for as long as you can, whenever you can. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night. And the following morning, we will return here Monday, August 5, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.